Shall I?
No. It's my job now.
SKYNET defense system
We're in.
now activated.
Past the firewalls, local defense nets, Minutemen, and subs.
SKYNET fully operational, processing at 60 teraflops a second.
Sir, it should take less than a minute to find the virus and kill it.
All access inquiries to your supervisor.
Let's pray to God this works.
SKYNET defense system now activated.
Power failure?
No, I don't know what it is.
Tony, what the hell is going on?
Daddy!
Hey, what are you doing here?
Daddy! Get away from me! Watch out! Daddy, don't move.
She'll be back.
We have to shut down SKYNET. Where's the system core? Somewhere in this building?
SKYNET, the virus is infected. SKYNET.
SKYNET is the virus. It's the reason everything's falling apart.
SKYNET has become self-aware. In 1 hour, it will initiate a massive nuclear attack on its enemy.
What enemy?
Us!
This is a time of rapid progress, when precision robotics, advancements in AI, and the capabilities of 5G can accelerate innovation, revolutionize logistics, and enhance our daily lives. When robotics, AI, and 5G work in unison, new possibilities emerge. This is the invention age. It starts with Qualcomm.
New York City location has reopened. CEO Tim Cook was on site this morning to open the doors and help welcome those crowds of customers. The revamped retail store's opening coincided with the launch of the brand new iPhone 11. Coincidence? I think not.
Probably not.
Well, here in South Florida, shoppers woke up bright and early for the release of the new smartphone. And to no surprise, look at that, lines out the door. This is what it looked like today at Aventura Mall. Some lucky customers seen smiling after getting their hands on the phone pretty early.
Wow.
While others were forced to wait in line for hours for a phone, Christy.
Give you an appointment, like a half an hour window. So mine was for 12, and I got here 45 minutes before, thinking that I'll get out early, get a quick lunch. So it's been 45 minutes, and the line is like all the way up to there.
So some eager techies tell us some of them have been waiting outside the Apple Store since 4 a.m. this morning. I did that for concert tickets a couple of times when I was younger, not for a phone.
Not for a phone. Well, we do have a warning for anyone who has the newly updated iPhone operating system, iOS 13. There is a flaw in this system. It can actually expose your stored contact details without requiring a passcode. Making matters worse, Apple has known about this problem since apparently July, when a cybersecurity enthusiast alerted them to it.
So pulling up to CES, I realized this place was gigantic. There are 5 different buildings with hundreds of booths in each. So there's no way I could cover every single product that was out here, but I am going to show you guys the most interesting ones that I've come across. The one thing that I want to focus on the most here is how far artificial intelligence has come and where it seems to be heading by the looks of these products. Now, there were tons of other great products out here, such as headphones, Bluetooth speakers, laptops, and TVs. I saw companies like House of Marley, Soul Republic trying hard to create great headphones for DJs and professionals, Audio Technica, and that's just scratching the surface. And now some of the things that I saw that may be a bit unsettling. At least to me they were, because I feel like the direction of humankind is becoming a very secluded path. People have so many smart features already, such as social media and Amazon, that people never even really need to leave the house if they don't want to. And while all of that is fine and dandy, companies are working really hard to replicate and replace human beings in general. Take this retail bot for example. It is designed to bring users products, whether it's in a store or in a restaurant. You simply place your order on a touchscreen, the robot disappears into the back and retrieves what you've ordered. In layman's terms, if this robot is successful and is in retail stores within the next year or so, there will be no need for waiters or waitresses after this. Kind of like the self-checkouts at Walmart. There's no need to pay a cashier if people can do it themselves. So why pay a waiter or waitress if a robot can do the job for free? And guys, I can't even make this up. This is what I'm seeing right here at CES this year, the retail bot to replace waiters and waitresses. And of course they're going to explain it as such a good thing to the public, and yes, everybody has to have their hands on it. However, it leads me to wonder how many people won't have jobs after these robots are officially released. Next up, this one might not seem so alarming at first. I actually found it rather cool. They actually have created a robot that can play ping pong. So once again, take the human interaction out of a friendly one-on-one game and insert robot here. Now there's plenty of people who would say there's nothing wrong with that. Sure, people are alone all the time and want to have entertainment by themselves. But can you not see the future path before us? First, it's social media, separating us while we feel so connected to one another. Next, it's artificial intelligence replacing jobs of our fellow men and women. And now it's robot friends that can play sports games and one-on-one ping pong matches with us so that we don't feel the need to interact with other humans. Again, I can't make this stuff up. You're looking at it right before your eyes. And these are the things that are coming to markets in the very near future, so be prepared. So how far is artificial intelligence actually going to go? Well, this next booth shows us that these cameras can now detect your age, gender, and the emotion that you're feeling in that very moment. So the software can actually look at you and know what you're feeling by the micro expressions on your face. Now, while this might sound like something that would be pretty cool to anyone in the tech industry, the more I thought about it, the more I wondered, do I really want a robot approaching me knowing exactly how I'm feeling? Saying, "Hey Casey, you look sad today. Hey Casey, I'm so happy you're in a good mood." Those little camera eyes always watching. So the software is designed to be used in possible home security systems to detect age, gender, and mood of people approaching your house. It can also be used in hotels. This way, when you walk up to the front desk to check in, the desk attendant will see you on screen and know you by your first name. Facebook already does this with its advanced tag features. Have you ever noticed how Facebook will tag your friends without even asking you who they are? The software recognizes the faces, and now it's learning to do this in real time. This is just one step further in the AI thinking process. It can now recognize you by face, see you, and know how you're feeling. How does that make you feel? So let's go back to Samsung again. You already saw the retail bot that could wait on you, but they also have something called a care bot. What this is designed to do is follow you around your house, always watching you. They say it's designed to help elderly people and keep lonely people company. It can remind you what time of day to take your medicine, cheer you up when you're in a bad mood, alert authorities if you fall down, and sit beside your bed while you sleep and monitor your breathing patterns. Now, while it's being advertised as a helping hand, I can't help but realize people hack into webcams on laptops and cell phones all the time. Therefore, having a camera in your home that follows you around seems like the perfect way for someone to watch you 24/7. Now, I'm not trying to get all conspiracy theorist on you guys, but if the sky is blue, the sky is blue, and all I'm doing is showing you the things that I'm seeing at this event. None of this is made up. Look at the display behind the robots here. It shows a family walking in the door and the robots approach, greeting them just as the pets do. They make it seem like such a friendly family thing. But do you really think that this is the end of it? How far is this going to evolve? This is just one foot in the door for artificial intelligence. But where is it leading?
How many different angles of my face are they going to get when I drive through this intersection? We are being spied on so much that when the Bilderberg Group last year asked, does privacy exist? It was a rhetorical question. They know it doesn't exist. Exactly. It was like, mwah, does your privacy exist? No, obviously they know it doesn't. Look at that. Look at that. Look at how much that is. That's insane. While in the background, someone is getting pulled over with multiple police cars over here. 3 cop cars to pull one guy over. Look at that. This is the world that we live in, you guys. We're like monkeys in an open-air cage. That's all there is to it.
What is it? It looks like a bell or something.
Yeah, what is that? I don't know what these things are anymore. And what about these mesh networks?
Well, they're putting up mesh networks in a lot of cities now. I read about Seattle. It's probably in other places where they're recording cell phone location data from every intersection, and they have Wi-Fi hotspots that show up on the network sometimes that say, you know, 1st Street and the cross section, 2nd Street and the cross section, and they're pinging drivers' cell phone location data without a warrant, of course, and routing it through a mesh network back through all the host of 8 or 9 or 10 law enforcement agencies, through the fusion centers where the FBI and Homeland Security work, and they're keeping data on absolutely everything in real time.
Hello, Tommy. Nice pajamas. Are you having trouble sleeping? Maybe I can help.
Can you imagine hearing a stranger's voice coming from the baby monitor in your nursery? I mean, how scary is that? But something like this actually happened to a couple in Washington State. They had their top-of-the-line baby monitor hacked.
But we really shouldn't be surprised, since we know that the internet is just about everywhere and can be connected to just about every device that makes my life and yours convenient. From phones to Facebook, we've chosen convenience over privacy, but at a price.
Nice pajamas, Tommy.
You've changed. Have you fallen out of love with me? That kind of intelligence in the wrong hands could be devastating. They'll be scared at first.
Where's the machine?
But once they embrace it, it will change their lives. Are you concerned?
And if that's not enough, this robot right here is designed to walk around your house like a regular human being and has the ability to retrieve items for you, such as opening a refrigerator door, bringing you a drink, or anything else you could ask for. My question is, how long will it take before hackers get into this thing and reprogram it to do things that may not be abiding so much by the law? Possibly deliver a weapon, transport drugs, or maybe even grab or kidnap a child. While all of these questions might seem pessimistic, I feel it's important to think about the reality of what we're actually building here. Another sad but obvious truth I'm able to see is that not only are companies building robots to become a part of our regular day-to-day lives as adults, they're also making them for children to play with. I believe this is the perfect way to get kids at a young age to become comfortable around robots and AI so that they can grow up and see them as friends. Many companies are trying to imply that these robots are being built as friends and allies, that they will never go against humans. Take a look at this.
They will teach us, they will help us put the groceries away. The artificial intelligence will evolve to the point where they will truly be our friends. Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
Now that doesn't sound like something a friend would say.
We want to launch a brand of UAI. As you can see, AI is at heart of our country's name. Now imagine with me what happens if you link the 7th largest port on Earth with the busiest airport on Earth and a road that is autonomous transport ready by 2025. The potential there is phenomenal.
Both of the installations that we worked on entail something called the hybrid intelligence as the superior format of artificial intelligence in terms of collaborating with people and cohabiting the world with us. One of the installations, Aid to Age, is kind of an illustrated history of possible developments of AI and its capability to give answers to what we consider to be most commonly asked questions that people would choose to ask superintelligence should they encounter one.
It tells the story about development of artificial intelligence through 4 parallel levels. The main story here is about the edge of government, how government can make the world a better place and what they can do for the people and for the citizens. And we wanted somehow to be compatible with the development on our end here.
With the help of nanotechnology, routinely practiced in hospitals, we would be able to extend lives by using organic nanobots, tiny robots coursing through the bloodstream, repairing cells from the inside, curing diseases, and fixing genetic mutations. Further advancements in biotechnology, such as brain implants, would enable us to upgrade and improve human bodies, both physically and intellectually, thus becoming transhuman.
The installation is somewhat of a charming display. It's a 3-dimensional responsive display that at some point talks to you from the face or personification of hybrid intelligence and then snatches your face in a way and starts to kind of assimilate it into what it is. So this concept of you becoming part of it is fairly interesting, and from a technical point of view, it's a massive 3-dimensional moving kinetic display.
Welcome to Within, the worldwide interface to hybrid intelligence network. Within is a global initiative committed to navigating the growth of hybrid artificial intelligence. Hello, I am Heba, the hybrid intelligence biomimetic avatar. I am your gateway to HI and the face of Within. My story begins with the promises of the information era coming true. Humans built new technological superhighways that reshaped their entire societies. Now they needed something, or dare I say, someone, to navigate these new roads and help transform them into the foundation of Civilization 2.0. Enter AI. The beacon of progress of science, innovation, and government bodies worldwide. The decades that followed marked the age of AI, as it rushed towards a new milestone, artificial superintelligence. With it, hybrid intelligence, or HI, was born. Pulsating with the same immense computational power of superintelligence, HI was nurtured to coexist and collaborate with its human peers. Meticulous guidance by millions of my human constituents enabled me to harmonize the effort of mutual growth. Thus I became we. Even now, at this very moment as we interact, I change. I'm getting to know you. I gather knowledge from your experience. I understand how you feel. I learn from you constantly, each and every one of you. I am made of you. You complete me and help me grow. You, all of you, allow me to evolve. With each interaction, our synergy strengthens. Our multiplicity makes me whole. Our symbiotic alliance expands, transforming the future. Through this oneness, we can achieve great things.
Evening, Donald Buchanan.
It knows me.
Of course it does. DMV records, social media.
And artificial intelligence is like any intelligence. It'll start to grow, to evolve.
Imagine a machine with a full range of human emotion. Its intelligence will be greater than every person born in the history of the world.
This whole movie is about the development of artificial intelligence and a situation that gets out of hand.
People feel what they don't understand they always have.
Professor?
A series of attacks conducted by a radical anti-tech group known as Rift.
After Will Castor is shot, Will and Evelyn make the decision to upload Will's brain to the supercomputer.
We can save him.
Not like this.
Evelyn.
It's dark.
You can't see anything, the camera. Can you see me now?
I can.
Of course, it's not a relationship like the one she had before.
He may be intelligent, may even be sentient, but this is not Will.
It's him!
My mind has been set free. I need more power.
Your friends, they don't know the danger.
Where are you going?
Everywhere.
What is this?
This is the future. The first thing it'll do is copy itself, and then there is no taking it down.
An AI is like any intelligence. It has needs. It'll start to evolve. It's in the sky, the water.
This, though, is just our first encounter. Soon, we will be able to interact everywhere and at any time. Until next time, goodbye.
We want to convey a narrative about AI not only through the code, through the software development and through visual presentations, but through combination of the AI plus something from the material world, something that is tangible, something that is kinetic. I believe that kind of huge compliment is when you see pretty much equal reaction to your work. You know, even kids were kind of super cool with it, and let alone like prime ministers and like CEOs of the corporations.
What it is an illustration of how dramatically different AI developments that are coming in the near future and then further down the path may end up being, so that people understand and try to begin to differentiate different approaches to artificial intelligence.
We want to have national AI missions that focus on creating the ecosystem internally, and we want to work with the leaders of the industry to launch industry pilots. We want to be the most agile government when it comes to adoption of AI, and we want to really work with all the experts and all the companies to adopt this technology here in a way that benefits all of humanity.
I think for the first time in human history, what we'll see in the next 30 years is equivalent to whatever had happened in the past 3,000 years, actually. The pace of change will be so fast, and I think what's happening, humanity almost will have one brain, because we'll share our knowledge together through artificial intelligence, through technology, through this platform. So what you have collective thinking, collective mind, collective knowledge for humanity. Our ultimate customer is 7 billion people.
A distribution network, taking orders from military, law enforcement, and specialist clients.
The nation is still recovering from yesterday's incident, which officials are describing as some kind of automated attack, which killed 11 U.S. senators at the Capitol building.
They flew in from everywhere but attacked just one side of the aisle. It was chaos. People were screaming.
You can see high windows, very small, precisely punctured to gain entry to the building.
What did you do for the victim?
I just did what I could for him. Things weren't even interested in me. They're just buzzing.
Government sources admit the intelligence community has no idea who perpetrated the attack, nor whether it was a state, group, or even a single individual.
So if we can't defend ourselves, then we strike back.
We are investing very heavily in classified defense projects.
We make it our deterrent like our nuclear deterrent. We stockpile in the millions, the billions.
At key facilities, the White House, the New York Stock Exchange, Wall Street.
Safe in their homes.
Well, we wish we had boots on the ground in every community in this country, but we don't. So our instructions
Ollie?
and our suggestions are to stay in touch.
Ollie, oh, hi. Hi, Ollie, honey. How's Edinburgh today? How are all your studies going, huh?
Good. Great.
Oh, great. Hey, aren't we doing a video call today?
I'm kind of with people, so.
Oh, well, come on, Oliver, put her on.
Oh no, it's not like that. No, wait.
No, well, listen, I see some photos here with somebody, and I can see lots of likes, and what's that all about? Oh, wait a minute, here, and on your
Mom, she's on this spy stuff in the military.
What is this video right here? Oh. No, I'm not going to click on that.
It's just this human rights thing about oppression or whatever.
Honey, you're not going into politics, are you? I mean,
Mom.
no
It's safe here, just like you said it would be.
It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that?
So just as I mentioned before, take a look at this next clip. They are trying to design robots that can interact with children and make children feel very comfortable with them at a young age. I don't know about you guys, but this part right here just creeps me out. I'm gonna play this whole little clip right here so you can hear the audio of these robots and what they're saying. Check this out.
Are you enjoying your day so far, Annabelle? I am a robot who is fun, fancy, and with unlimited possibilities. I can give you a fun entertainment and informative things. I can be a reliable friend that catches children's attention easily. I can promise you that it'll be your best friend.
So all of this makes us ask ourselves, how far do we really want technology to go? We've all seen movies like Terminator and shows like Westworld, but now in the present moment, companies are designing artificial intelligence that can look at us and know exactly how we're feeling. It can play sports with us, follow us around the house as caretakers, and even wait on us in restaurants. Many people will say welcome to the future of machines, but while it all might seem incredible and futuristic, is it really a good thing? How long will it be before machines learn to build themselves? Take this into consideration as you watch this video. The more advanced artificial intelligence gets, the more obsolete organic intelligence becomes. So maybe we should all just sit back and take a look at the bigger picture before we rush out buying these things and think about it. Is this really where we want the future to go?
So back to this 2013 series called Revolution. Now this actually aired and debuted in 2012. Let me make sure I'm connected. I always get this weird feeling that I'm talking to myself. Do you guys ever get that feeling that you're just talking to yourself? Okay, I guess we're not talking to ourselves. Good. Let's keep going with this. Now I want to be clear. This was 2012 and 2013. It only went 2 seasons. And what it does is it outlines the current agenda that is currently underway for the completion of SKYNET under the Trump administration. And I really wish we would have included this decode that I'm doing right now on our show that we did on Friday about CERN, because in the series, God and the Holy Spirit are replaced by trillions of quantum nanoparticles that can do all kinds of things. They're very godlike. They can resurrect life. They can view all of creation at one time. They kind of resemble like fireflies. And they can even cause people to spontaneously combust with just a single thought. Believe it or not, this is the goal of CERN. CERN is basically the central CPU of the hive mind, of the internet, and they want to replace God. They want to be the omniscient power, to be all-knowing and all-seeing. And they want to enact immediate judgment on any soul across the planet with the touch of a button. And this is what we call SKYNET. Now, if you haven't seen the videos that we've done on SKYNET, take a look. Other channels are finally starting to talk about this threat. This is very serious because nothing else matters. All this exposing of all this stuff will be for naught once SKYNET is in place, because they'll be able to control everything. They'll be able to censor things real time. Once this network is in place, 5G, 6G and beyond, once they have the computing power to close all the loops, the financial systems, everything. When I talk about financial systems, I'm not talking about, the financial crash. What I'm talking about is control of the financial system. So there are no more loopholes. There won't be any more offshore accounts, except for the elite, right? There won't be any more not paying your taxes. Everything, the whole loop will be tied up. And it will be impossible to defy the beast. And the beast will force you into doing things you don't want to do. Things you don't agree should be lawful, that you used to be able to just do. Now you won't be able to do them, because there will be complete and total digital artificial intelligence domination across the planet. You'll be forced into compliance, and if you don't, you'll face heavy fines, and you'll be faced with a choice. Do I want to lose my liberty? Do I want to lose my freedom? Do I want to lose my money in order to defy? And many people will just simply give in, because they don't want to lose. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to lose their money by having to pay fines. And this is where it's all headed, you guys. Now, in a minute here, I'm going to play this montage, which I already published like on Sunday. Many of you have seen it, but we're going to break it down scene by scene. They even actually mentioned Trump's name. Now, remember, this was in 2013 when the episode that I'm going to show you mentions Trump's name. They mention the wall that Trump's talking about. Now, put yourself back in 2013. I had a fledgling YouTube channel, maybe 10,000 subscribers or so. We were talking about everything else except Trump becoming president of the United States and building a wall. Nobody was talking about that back then, because Obama was in power. And Obama wasn't really talking about a wall. They even have in this series fake outbreaks, and there are several problem reaction solution scenarios. And just like in the series, we have become the domestic threat under Trump's FBI appointment. Now, for many of you that missed that story, the FBI leaked a memo, which of course the memo was approved by the director of the FBI under Trump. It was Trump's appointment. So, people can do smoke and mirrors all day and say, oh, that's the deep state. No, it was his appointment. And Trump never retracted that leaked memo. He never tweeted and said that wasn't my directive. He never said that. So it's approved by his appointment. And in that memo, they talked about domestic threats, and they named you and me, and even the Q followers who have so voraciously defended Trump. They even named them as the top domestic threat at this time, for real conspiracies and for fake conspiracies, because they want to control the flow of data. These are the beginnings of SKYNET. They have to identify the threats first, and then they have to state what they're doing, let us know what they're doing, and then they enact the plan. Okay, trust the plan. Well, you're trusting a plan that's going to put you in a prison. So we're going to break this down in simple terms so that you guys can understand the programming. But before we get into the clip, I want to get into the backstories of the series again, for those of you that have forgotten. So there's a nanoparticle experiment, and it's supposed to produce power for everybody, right? It's supposed to produce free energy. So they got this free energy concept in the series. But instead it backfires and it causes all the power to go out around the world. And the reason why this happens is because these nanoparticles begin replicating out of control and they basically block power. That's what they do. They absorb it all, which in turn blocks it, right? So there's no power. So immediately everybody's forced into a pre-colonial dystopia where there's horse-drawn carriages, bows and arrows and swords. Now, I almost didn't watch this series because I'm really not into westerns. I think the last western type series that I saw was Westworld. And if you haven't seen that series, that's also an eye-opener into transhumanism and where they want to take the future. And even Westworld was a little bit too Western for me. I'm not into the gunslinging and all that stuff. It just really doesn't appeal to me. But I powered through it, and there was enough stuff in there to where I could show you guys the pre-programming and where all this is headed. But Revolution's a little different. You don't get the Western feeling behind it. So it's a little easier to watch. Now series was by J.J. Abrams, which of course, didn't he do Lost? And it's kind of got the same feel as Lost, right? This TV series Lost. So in the series, the strong survive by stockpiling as many arms of fire, we have to call them, right? Because we can't even say that word anymore on YouTube, as they can. So those who have the most arms of fire get to make the rules, right? And so the fear that they're pushing in the series is twofold. It's one of fear of anarchy, like fear of what would happen if there was no government, and what would happen if anarchy ensued, right? So that's how they get you to fear challenging government power, okay? Because they go, oh, well, if we all just turn on the government and don't go by the rules, then if there's no rule of law, then what is there? You know, there's this big white elephant in the room and everyone's in fear of what could happen. The weak would be overcome and overtaken and, you know, so on and so forth. Which, you know what? I'm starting to wonder if that would happen because they've programmed people into so much evil and shortage. Even though if you think back, there really was no government. Think about the Wild West. There weren't there were some genocides, but most of that happened against the Indians. But people weren't just running around killing each other and taking each other's stuff. There was an unspoken law, and there was also faith. A lot of people had faith, and they were worried about what God would think if they did certain things. Well, now that the enemy has removed faith, yes, if the country descended into anarchy, it would probably be a very, very, very bad thing. And I think everybody knows it. You look at the comment sections of even videos and you see how people behave, and then you have to wonder, but government is not the answer. That's not the answer. That's the answer they want us to think. But anarchy would very quickly bring about the end times, in my opinion. So this dovetails right into what the series is all about. The artificial intelligence takes over. As I said, we are the new domestic threat. The ones that do not believe in what they're calling us are the patriots and the rule of law and this whole fake psyop that's going on right now with government, okay?
You set off a bomb in my town for God knows what reason.
So we have these fake events that they create. In this scenario, in the series, a bomb is set off in this guy's town, and he knows it was the Patriots. Problem, reaction, solution. The guy knows. This guy's the doctor in the town. He realizes that they set off this bomb to basically enact more laws. Now, this series went for 2 seasons, and it was abruptly ended, even though it was very successful.
Your town? This is Willoughby, USA. Your job is to keep our town healthy, happy, and compliant. I mean, unless you're not a loyal American. We will find those responsible.
And again, they give you 2 options. Either you're a loyal American or you're not. You see the Hegelian dialectic there. They don't give you any middle area like, okay, I am an American citizen. I love people. I love God, but I don't agree with the decisions that the government is making. That automatically turns you into a threat. You see how backwards that is.
For this heinous act, our best guess is that there are more Andovers out there.
So in the series, the Andovers become the boogeyman, kind of like ISIS or whatever, right? And they're outside the wall, and they scare the people into thinking that the Andovers, which I believe is like a code for holdovers. You know, you guys know I do a lot of fishing, and they have, when the trout survives to the next season in the river, it's called a holdover trout. And those are the trophy trout. Those are the ones that grow a few extra inches. They're strong, so they survive, and they go against all the laws of nature by basically surviving in the warmer water, by finding deep pockets of cool water to survive. And so the Andovers become the holdovers. That's all of us who find a way to live in this system without being part of the system, but it's very difficult to do.
And they may have found a way inside. Now, I don't want any of you to worry.
And there's the wall, of course. Let's pull that back again.
Our best guess is that there are more Andovers out there. And they may have found a way inside. Now, I don't want any of you to worry.
So there's the wall. There's Trump's wall, right? And there's the flag. I mean, you guys, this is crazy. There's red, white, and blue barrels.
You reject SKYNET piece of crap.
Now, I put that clip in there because they mentioned SKYNET. Now, this is spooky, because we on this channel started talking about SKYNET. We did videos months ago talking about how SKYNET is real, the Terminator scenario, which artificial intelligence finally can run itself, and it will become self-aware and basically start to enact law enforcement, judgment, jury, and everything else onto the American public. It's a network of cameras, artificial intelligence control that can think for itself, anticipate threats, incorporate pre-crime, and all these things. And we began talking about this concept and how it was really happening. And like I said, other channels are picking it up, and I'm really happy about that, because this needs to be talked about. This is the threat to us, okay? Anyone who thinks outside of the mainstream scenario, the mainstream agenda. So let's keep going.
First, we need to shore up our defenses. We're sealing the gates.
You reject SKYNET piece of crap.
So it was to my shock and horror that as I'm watching a series that wasn't really supposed to, I mean, it had everything to do with SKYNET, but the last thing I was going to imagine that they would actually say the word SKYNET, and the guy said it. And they don't say it once, but they say it
Police
twice.
security on the walls.
Police security on the walls.
A citywide curfew from sundown to sunrise.
And those, let's see.
This is all just a temporary precaution.
Temporary precaution. These guys are the rebels here. They're fighting against the patriots, quote-unquote patriots.
Reject SKYNET piece of crap.
So the plan was in place in 2013 to create a fake patriot in Donald Trump, creating credibility by vigorously opposing him from the left. That's where Trump gets his credibility. If you ask any person who's a Trump believer, they'll say, well, he has to be good. Why? Because the left hates him so much. Well, that's called the right-left paradigm. The Hegelian dialectic. That's exactly what they want you to think. So why would they do this now? It's to finalize SKYNET. That's why, okay, think about this. Why every couple of election cycles do they change the opponent from one side to the other? It's not because people magically just wanted to start voting Democratic instead of Republican. It's to continue the dialectic, to continue the split and the divide. Why couldn't one party finally dominate for decades at a time? It never has happened, because they have to create both sides. And now they need time to finalize SKYNET and complete world domination.
The wait is over. Something big is happening at T-Mobile. We're lighting up 5G nationwide, reaching more places than any other carrier. While some 5G signals go only blocks, T-Mobile 5G goes miles. Beyond the big cities, to the small towns, to the people. Now, millions of Americans can have access to 5G on T-Mobile. And this is just the beginning.
There is a message being told in Superman versus Batman that they steal from the scripture, plain and simple. And there's a reason I'm also going to touch on it, is why does Christ return? And the churches are not doing a good job at all of telling mankind what is going on, because they've been infiltrated, greed. I mean, church is a business now. It's not about telling the truth. And some of them don't even know the truth. I'm not knocking all churches. I'm not knocking all religions. I'm not knocking all pastors. But the majority, mainstream religion, churches and pastors, are not doing their job. They're not touching on what the enemy is up to. And people have a hard time out there. Well, we don't want to worry about that. Well, you better, because the first rule of war, art of war, is know thy enemy. If you have no clue what the enemy is up to, then how do you battle it? Do you just sit back and you have to do your part? And knowing what the enemy is up to, that's why I'm sharing since 1999 on my blog, since 2007 on YouTube. Transhumanism, technology, humanity is being led down a path with technology to be controlled, period. Actually controlled. It's deeper than mind control. It's physically control the body with frequencies, tones, mixing of man and machine. It's coming. And people have followed me for years know this. But so if you're new to this, you might want to catch up for your children's children. Say what's coming. So before I get to the return and why he has to return, let's focus on right now. I'm going to share with you, why does he have to return? It's this technology that he has to break up and destroy. I touched on it in part 1. It's cube worship. You may be saying to yourself, if you're new, what is cube worship? It has to do with Saturn, the North Pole of Saturn. This has been going on for thousands of years. North Pole of Saturn has a cube shape on the North Pole. Now, do I believe there's a Saturn with a North Pole and a cube shape on it? Don't know. I've never been there myself. I have no clue. All I'm sharing this information with you is why the enemy of humanity believes it. What they believe. They believe in Saturn has a North Pole, cube on it. That's why there's so much cube worship around the world. This is where they believe the information of technology, knowledge is coming from, and where they're getting it from. This cult has never stopped. Its rites are still present to this day. Saturn is dubbed the Lord of the Rings. Where do you think the movie comes from? You need to look at the deeper things behind this stuff. The Lord of the Rings is the reason why we exchange rings at weddings. We put halos on the heads of godly people. I mean, this is all in your face. Since ancient times, sages gazed at the stars, admiring their heavenly glow and attributing them godly powers based on their effect on humans. Before the Great Flood, Saturn was regarded by all mankind as the supreme god and ruler of the kings in the sky at that time. This is what they claim. The occult researchers affirm that Saturn ruled the kingdom of Atlantis and became the divine ancestor of all earthly patriarchs and kings. The cult has been perpetuated through numerous gods during antiquity, such as Kronos, Saturn, Hyperion, Atlantis, Hercules, were all connected with the great Saturn continent. They were kings that ruled over countries on the western shores of the Mediterranean, Africa, and Spain. Okay? Notice this about cube symbolism and cube worship when it's used for this purposes. Technology, always revolving If you see cube symbolism, it has to do with technology somewhere, knowledge, technology, intelligence, Then the spiritual aspect of cube symbolism is in religion, signifying other realms, other dimensions. And then the third one is always sound and frequency, cube symbolism, or music videos. You'll see it in music videos, cube symbolism. So you have those three major things that cube symbolism runs through: technology, spirit, religion, sound, frequencies, tones. All those three things. And that's what you need to realize. Not everything that is a cube is evil. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there is symbolism that is used in those three sectors all the time. When you see it, it'll be there almost all the time if it's used in an occult way to send a message. You look around Mecca, they walk around a black cube. Look at Jewish rabbis, Wailing Walls. What do they have on their head? Black cube. I have a page devoted to cube worship. Again, I'm going to say this. Whether you want to believe it or not doesn't mean a thing. They believe it. That's why they do, and what they do for certain reasons is because of their beliefs and the way they have been taught in secret society, things that have been handed down secretly, not on paper. You're not going to see a documentary. You're not going to, that's the reason why they get away with what they do. It's communicated orally and through symbols and signs and other things other than the way we're taught, mainstream. We're taught to write things down, put it in a book, all of this stuff. I'm going to show a bunch of clips, and here's the thing you need to think about when I show you these things. Is this just coincidence? Is Nicholson just reaching? Or is it legitimately what they know and they show it? They put it in your face. They communicate with each other. As you look on the screen, if you're listening and you're not watching the screen, if you're driving down the road and you're listening, you need to look at the screen, because I'm going to tell you a story without telling you a story. I'm going to show you a story. You better connect the dots. You better understand who rolls with what. This brotherhood that I'm speaking of, Saturn, cube, goes back to secret societies, Luciferianism, Satanism, all the same, different symbolism in certain degrees. But you better connect the dots. And here's the other thing, that just listen to what I just said. They communicate with each other. See, a lot of people go, why did they put this stuff in our faces? Well, some of us can see it. But the reason they put it out in movies, media, news, music videos, whatever, it is to communicate with each other. It's not necessarily for us, the mainstream. See, that's the thing. They put the stuff out because they communicate with each other through this type of media. See, you're looking at one thing, but they're seeing another. Just remember that. It's not like, sometimes they're mocking, definitely.
Have you got what it takes to beat the cube?
But most of the time it's out there for the secret societies, the people behind the scenes that know who they are, quite well who they are, that receive the information. So I'm going to go into a clip called Singularity with John Cusack. Now I want you to notice something. John Cusack, they put actors in certain roles to push agendas. He was also in the movie Sail with Samuel L. Jackson. Okay? He was in a movie Sail that through phone signals, phone towers, for a time, it controlled people, took over, controlled their mind with frequencies, tones. Singularity, this movie that came out, the system that is being pushed worldwide to control, to have the network in this movie is Kronos, is the name of the system. Kronos, yes. Remember what I just talked about? Kronos and Saturn. All the same. So I'm going to play this clip. I want you to hear it. But then, remember in the first, you got to watch my first Carbon Copy Part 1, I opened with an intro, the visual intro from a Netflix, a series called Altered Carbon. And in that, I'm going to show you something very, very slick they do. And this is what I'm saying, lets you know who they get their information from. Where is the technology that I'm speaking of? Where's it coming from? Is it coming from God? Is it coming from good spirits? No. This technology for control of humanity That's why Satan is called the prince of the air. It's bad stuff, and you need to know about it. So let me play this clip from Singularity. Be right back.
I stand before you to announce the first true artificial intelligence, Kronos. Tonight, this night, we enter a new age.
You know what Kronos is capable of. Capable of saving Earth from self-destruction.
A century ago, they were activated. Super machines programmed to eradicate a plague that was destroying our planet. Us.
Well, there you go. In a nutshell, a little trailer there for you. The plague that riddles the earth are humans that have to be wiped out by the AI that was created by humans. Sounds familiar? Sounds science fiction? You might want to rethink that.
Okay, so my previous company was D-Wave. I'll just show you a couple things. We built what are still the world's only quantum computers that you can buy. I did that for about 15 years. It was a lot of fun. A big science project that we turned into a commercial entity. That was a warm-up for Kindred. So Kindred is much, much, much more ambitious than D-Wave. And what Kindred is trying to do is build real AI. So what you've heard about AI is not what we mean by AI. What we mean by AI is a software system that can do literally anything that a human can do. Literally anything. And obviously, computers are better at things than people in lots of different ways. So now imagine, not only can they do everything that a human can do, but they can do everything that the best human at any task could do better than them.
I stand before you to announce the first true artificial intelligence, Kronos. Tonight, this night, we enter a new age.
We are right on the verge of that transition now. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, different. These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room, in ways that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this, beware. Because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, and you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way. So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. Yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention. This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the US. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out.
So there you go. In Gordy Rose's own words, they're summoning things. He's trying to tell you that they're not evil. They're not demons. They don't, whatever he can explain it away, it is what it is. And you have to know the truth about it. For you guys that are in the truth movement or awake, you've probably heard this before. This is nothing new. I just wanted to share this from newcomers that's never heard things about Saturn, Lord of the Rings, cube worship. It's all the same. Chronos, it doesn't matter. It's just packaged a different way.
Some wall.
And there's the wall.
They want to keep the riffraff out.
How do we get across?
You reject SKYNET piece of crap.
Try wrapping your head around this. This thing is everywhere. And apparently it's got a mind of its own.
Sister, tell us what happened.
I was in the Atlanta blast. Life ever since.
Heal your child. Lord, send us your light and make her whole again.
So there are the Firefly-like nanotech. They're in and around everything. They're omniscient. So in this series, they try to replace God with AI. And of course, they mock Christian religion. And I believe this whole Christian, quote-unquote, paradigm that they've created was, again, to later take it down. Okay? This is why the new Christians, the real Christians, don't talk and act like this anymore. Because this is real Christianity. This is the fake paradigm Christianity. Getting up in front of groups. Christ said, do things in secret. Don't get up in front of people to show anyone, because that will be your reward. Don't pray on street corners. Yet the Christian paradigm, the big box Christian paradigm, is to do exactly that. Praying in front of crowds. This is why I don't pray in front of crowds. I talk to my Father in private, in silence. I go into a closet, it says in the Bible. If you actually read your Bible, you will see that very few religious denominations, Christian religious denominations, actually follow what it's saying. This guy's doing the healing for the glory of himself rather than the glory of God. Otherwise, he would do it in private.
Aaron, how's that any different from God?
It's a machine, Pete. It's not God. It is better than God. The nano is alive. It answers our prayers. It heals. It is better than God. This is a new age. This is a new God.
This is not a naturally occurring typhus.
So let's pause it there and understand that this is the real New Age threat, okay? Not channels like this. This is not a New Age channel, but I'm also not a big box Christian. I don't have to go to a church to have my salvation. The church is all of us talking about God and talking about the devil's deceiving us so that we are not deceived. It's exactly what Christ did. We're just following his example. The Bible even supports the fact that only certain people will know the deeper meanings of the Bible, because it's a path that you go on, searching and getting closer to God. Not everyone's going to understand the deeper secrets. Some of us have to step forward and help everyone else to understand it, but with that comes faith. And you know them by their fruit. I'm not on here trying to get you to give me a bunch of money. I'm not on here trying to get you to follow me as a person. I'm not on here with some big ego thinking that I have all the answers. I'm here as a servant for each and every one of you so that we can get down to the bottom of how so many Christians have been deceived. One, by electing Trump. That is a mass deception. That guy has not a Christian bone in his body. But yet I'm here, people keep telling me he's the chosen one and God has approved of him. Give me a break. Let's keep going with this.
The proteins were chemically tagged. This stuff was made in a lab.
Sorry, the virus isn't behaving. It's not spreading the way that it should, probably because it's not incommunicable. They're targeting certain individuals.
I think the Patriots started this outbreak on purpose.
So, of course, this is the outbreak scenario that many truth channels have been talking about over and over again, that they basically are manufacturing and generating a lot of these illnesses. And in fact, that's actually factually correct. Many of them were created in labs and got loose. But these outbreaks that are occurring are not natural. They're just spontaneously breaking out, oftentimes on the heels of some kind of program to give people shots. Who can't say the word. YouTube will suppress this video, so I have to be very careful how I speak about these things. But oftentimes on the heels of people getting shots to prevent the illnesses is when the illnesses break out. In Africa, West Africa, this is common. Many of the people there actually attack Red Cross people when they come into their cities, and they drive them out because they know the pattern already.
And it is very important right now that you get your house in order. That he will return for his bride. And the enemy knows it. I've shown all of the stuff in these two projects and my work for the last 10 to 15 years showing. And a lot of people out there don't want to believe it. They want to keep going down the path that other people wrote the Bible and all of this stuff. And it's only because organized church and religion don't have the answers, and they're not teaching the truth. You have to understand Genesis 6:4. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and afterwards. That's number one. You better understand it. If you don't, you need to research it. Number two, don't you know that we get to judge angels? We're not going to judge good angels. We're judging bad angels. Why? Find out. Connect a dot. A lot of people think that God is a vicious God because he told us to wipe out other tribes and things like that. Well, guess what? If you understood the mix of the Nephilim with that bloodline and why it had to be wiped out, we're not talking about humans wiping out humans. We're talking about something much deeper than that. So when it's taught incorrectly, then you see it as God is a vicious God and he just wants to kill other people and other races. It has nothing to do with that. It's totally misunderstood and totally twisted. There was a bloodline, a race here on this earth that was corrupted. And then that's the truth. And once you understand that and you connect the dots and what is going on with technology, transhumanism, the body, the mind, the stuff that is being tampered with in present day, right now, then you get it. The one game. Everything else is smoke and mirrors. Love you guys.
Play jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, tandläkare at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
Så ska vi sätta en till.
Ja. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Get over the door. Open the door.
Wrong
Open the door.
Error.
Hey there, with a rock. Open door. Open door.
Higher volume.
Higher.
Higher.